Welcome to another edition of Shorts Behind the Sports. We are with Alexa Vizzini today, a sophomore from Vernon, New Jersey, on the Eastern Connecticut Women's Lacrosse program. The Warriors, under the direction of Devyne Doran, she was a 2017 graduate of Eastern, was a two-time All-Conference selection and a two-time Defensive Player of the Year for the Warriors. She is back. She becomes the first Eastern women's lacrosse head coach to be an alumnus of the program. Alexa, you were in on the interviews when Devyne was hired this past summer. Talk about your thoughts about that interview process and what jumped out at you about Devyne.
It was really interesting to be there for the interview process, but when we interviewed Devyne, it was kind of a no-brainer. She understood what it was like to be a student athlete here. She understood what we were going through. She knows what it takes to be a student athlete here and what it also takes to just be a student here. And she was one of the coaches that had the most head coaching experience. And even just talking to her from across the table, you could just tell that she was gonna fit in with our team. She was gonna know how to handle us. And it was unanimous. As soon as we met her, me and it was Jessie Bennett, we looked at each other, we're like, yeah, we want her.
Was there a couple of things, we didn't really talk about this off camera, but was there a couple of things that she said that sort of like triggered a thing like, wow, this is great, I love to hear this, anything like that?
She said that she loves to have fun, but she likes to make us work hard, which is exactly what we were looking for in a coach, that we wanted someone to push us, but also be there for us off the field and reinforce the good things that we're doing. And I think that was really important for us looking back on the whole process, and within the first couple of questions, you could definitely tell that's what she was as a coach.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we were lucky enough to get Devyne in the fact that she coached 2 years at Mitchell and 2 years at Framingham State. So she came in with 4 years of head coaching experience, which sort of sometimes is unusual at the Division III level to get a coach that has that much head coaching experience.
Yeah, and we played Framingham last season, and we saw the girls that she recruited. We saw the kind of team that they were, and we admired them. And seeing what kind of things she could do for that program, we were so excited to get a coach like her so we can hopefully have that in our program in the next couple of years.
I remember watching Framingham when she was here, and that the one thing that jumped out at you, it looked like they were enjoying themselves, and she was very positive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're doing now, and it's so exciting.
Is being positive one of her best attributes?
Yes, 100%. That and her energy. She brings the most energy of anyone I have ever seen. I've played under 6 a.m. practice. She's jumping up and down, celebrating all the little things that we do. And it's so nice to see them being reinforced. And then when we need the constructive criticism, she's not afraid to say, hey, Lex, you could do this better, or you need to do this there. And then when I do it, celebrate it like it's the coolest thing ever.
Well, even though she was a defensive player, my guess is with her coaching experience, that she sort of knows a little bit about the entire game, not just defense.
Yeah, you would never know she was a defensive player. She knows so much about both ends of the field, and it's awesome to see.
Was there any aspect so far that she is really emphasizing with the team? Any aspects of the game itself, like, hey, we've got to be good in this, or we've got to be good in that, or we've got to be better physically fit? Is there any points of emphasis?
We have to be intense. So we have to play intense, we have to play hard, and then we called it controlled chaos. You have to move the ball fast, you have to do everything quick, but you have to do it clean and quick.
Can she still play?
Yes.
I mean, does she ever get
at our
out there?
alumni day in the fall.
Did she?
Yeah, she surprised us all. Yeah, it was really fun to watch.
She might be the best defense, and she's only been out of school for 5 years?
Yeah, well, she was scoring goals on us too, she played a tackle.
Was she?
Yeah.
She might be the best defensive player in the history of the program.
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, she still has it, I guess. When you guys first, you said when the team first met Dev, it was a Zoom call, correct? But you weren't on it.
I wasn't able to attend.
And that was in the summer, right, after she got the job?
Yeah, a week or two after we found out she got the job.
So what was the consensus of the team? You and a couple of your teammates, Jessie Bennett, were there in the interview, but did you guys spread the word? Hey,
Yeah.
this person could really be a good coach for us?
Yeah, immediately after, we were like, she's awesome. We want her so bad. And then when it was announced and everyone got on the Zoom call, I remember I was out to dinner with my family, and I looked down and I see my phone flooded with text messages, all excited that she's so awesome and that they're really excited to start the season with her.
Did they give, like, you and Jesse met with the coach, were you asked about your opinion by the people who made the final choice?
Yeah, I had to send Lori an email with my
Yes,
with them in
yeah.
order, and then
Oh.
and then why I should put them in that order.
Were they all pretty qualified? All
Yeah,
three?
they're all pretty qualified, but I think it came down to like immediately we just clicked with coach. Like we didn't have to, the conversation didn't feel forced. Like we could talk about being a student athlete here. She knows what it's like. She knows everything about this campus. She knows all the staff. So when we were talking, it just felt really natural for her to be a coach here.
In what ways is she strict? I mean, is she a real disciplinarian in terms of you got to be on time, you got to be at study hall? Is she really emphasize that stuff?
Being punctual, I think, which I can appreciate because I don't like being late and I don't like when people are late when I'm with them. So I think that we're at practice on time, we're at study hall on time, and showing up on time is late. You're 15 minutes early, which I love because by the time we get to practice, we're there working for our full 2 hours and we're not taking the first half hour to 20 minutes to warm up. So being early is on time, and I think that's the only thing that I would call her strict about, but I wouldn't call it like a disciplinarian. I think it's just she has expectations, and if we don't meet them, then it's like little consequences.
She seems like she's very available. Has everybody on the team had like one-on-ones with her like before
Yes.
the season started?
We had one-on-ones in the fall, and we went over like personal goals, and then we just talked about what we expect for the season, and then we're supposed to have them in the next upcoming week or two to see like where we're at and achieving those goals.
What would you think most of the players would have said if she asked a question like, what are your expectations for this year? What do you think most of the players on this year's team would say?
To make lacrosse fun,
Yeah.
to have fun while we play, and to work hard, but also like enjoy ourselves, enjoy our time together. I think that was a big thing that we were all looking for. We all love the sport, we all love playing it, but I think enjoying our time when we're like at the field, when we're together as a team, I think that was a big thing for us this year.
Are you guys at the point with the season approaching very quickly? Are you guys at the point where you're happy where you are as a team in terms of chemistry and execution, that kind of stuff?
I think we're at a great starting point. I think there's always room for improvement, especially we haven't played a full game yet. So I think as the season goes on, the sky is honestly the limit for us. But I think right now there's always things to work on. We've had 2 scrimmages. We're in the first, our preseason isn't technically over yet.
Yeah.
So I think by the time we're mid-season to end season, my answer would be a little different. But I think right now I'm very happy with the shape that we're in to start off our season.
It's a little bit too early to talk about it, or maybe it isn't, but was there a lot of talk about, hey, this is what we want to do in the conference? I mean, Eastern was, at one time, was one of the best teams in the conference. The last 4 years, they finished 5th. Is that any kind of talk yet, or is that just premature?
We talked a lot about beating Keene, our rivals. It's always a tough game with them. So I think beating them is the first step to that goal, and then after that, everything will fall in place. But I do think within the next couple years, we'll be moving up in the conference for sure.
What have you really liked about this team so far in terms of when you're on the field?
The energy that we bring. We make a mistake, no one's like hanging their head, no one's sad. We pick each other up all the time, and we celebrate all the little things, and we celebrate all the big things. And I think that's really important because it's so easy when you make a mistake to hang your head and get all sad. And I think we're really good at noticing each other like when we're getting like that and picking ourselves up. So then we could have like a good game without being negative.
Would you say this is an experienced team?
We have a lot of young players on the field. Our defensive unit, Grace Saldana, Sophie Ramino, and Neely Hart, they're all freshmen. And they lack experience in the college game, but you would never tell. They're very intense, they play well, and they keep their heads up high, they're very positive. So I don't know if we lack experience, but I think we all have fun playing, and they know what to do when they're on the field.
So you guys have had 2 scrimmages so far. You played Coast Guard and you played Worcester State most recently. What did you see in those scrimmages? Number one, that you liked, and what are the things that you think, hey, we need to work on this?
One thing that we need to work on is keeping our heads up in between the 30s, not in like a mentality way, but understanding, like not losing the ball between the 30s in transition. That's one thing that I do think we have to work on. But in terms of what we're doing well, I think we're taking care of the ball well on each of the ends. In the defensive unit, it's so fun to watch from the restraining line. It looks like a well-oiled machine when they're working down there. And then I think on the attack end, which I could speak more to, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it, like I said before, controlled chaos. Like, it all may look really, really quick, but I think we're taking care of the ball and we're doing what we need to down there.
Last question, Lex. When this season ends, what would you look back on and think, hey, this was a successful season? What do you think would have had to have happened?
I think that we would enjoy our time there, look back and be like, that was a lot of fun. I had so much fun because we do it from January to May.
That's right.
So those are months in your life that I want to look back at and say, like, I had the